Howdy, Savage Worlds fans. We are live for the last 90 minutes of the Rifts Atlantis Kickstarter, and we're going to have some other folks joining us, but we're going to have a couple minutes here at the beginning just to let people get on the stream because it takes a couple minutes for all the announcements to percolate out into the internets. So it's just me and Jody for right now. So how you doing, Jody?
I am great. How are you doing tonight?
Doing really good. I like your new camera. It's very nice.
Thank you. Thank you. Me too. It was quick and easy to set up, which is always a plus because, tech.
That's true, right? If something can go wrong, it will go wrong in tech, especially with live streaming. It's amazing how I'm kind of amazed that we've reached a point in technology where fewer hiccups happen than you normally guess. I mean, normally for like news crews, they go live and they have 75 people in between the techs and the cameramen and the people in the studio and then the satellite people, and it's all the feeds, and it's like, yeah, we got one guy running on a computer to get it done,
and that's you.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, there's a new camera and it's propped up by wooden boxes for anybody who wants to know, and but green screen camera, and we're ready to rock and roll here on Twitch and hang out with some of our favorite friends and talk about the coolness that is Rifts and everything that's going to be happening soon in the next couple of months, all the cool stuff we've got coming down the pipeline. So
I will live up to my Spoiler King name, so we will be revealing things on the stream, folks.
No spoilers. I'm not gonna let you.
James says he can't wait. So James, we'll give you spoilers, man. We will. So yeah, welcome aboard, guys. This Rifts Kickstarter has been pretty fantastic. I mean, all things considered, the very smooth from day one. How's it going, Jason? Welcome to the stream. Great first day. I mean, I think the first day knocked it out of the park for everybody. We were very surprised at the number of backers, and that's really what we look at, right? I mean, the number of backers. I mean, that's our community number, and I think people look at the money value, but we really look at the number of backers. And this campaign is really, I think we're at 1,700 backers on this one, and that's just a fantastic number considering that I think one of the bigger ones was a 1,900 person campaign, and so that means you guys are sticking with the line. You love it. You're coming back for Rifts. So we appreciate that. But not just to go, yes, spoilers, right? Everybody likes spoilers, and everyone they get Peg gives me side eye for it, but all the fans love spoilers. And we actually have so here's the cool thing. I'm not going to spoil this. I'm going to make Sean do it. I'm going to trick him into it. But there's a Rifts actual announcement. We're not going to give you the dates, but we're going to tell you there's something in the pipeline for Rifts that hasn't been talked about yet, and we're all very excited about it. Shane loves it. It's a very cool thing, and that might even happen maybe before South America or in tandem. We don't know yet, but there's a cool thing coming. So if you Rifts fans stick on the stream, you will get a special surprise from Sean when he shows, and the other goodness coming on the pipeline. So this was a really good. It was a 2-week Kickstarter. Thank you for those. I know some people have been like, "Hey, where are all the stretch goals and all that kind of stuff?" And for us, these booster campaigns are really about giving you all the value up front. We know what's in the box. It's a really good deal, and that allows us to kind of tighten the timelines between things are ready to be written. We do the final polish. You guys get some feedback from you because that's definitely helped out on the recent Kickstarters. Like, I mean, all the books, the Pathfinder for Savage Worlds books, so many books in that Kickstarter, right? We wouldn't be able to really get through that without your community help and you guys finding just all the right little details. And so those have done great, and those are almost all of them. I think all of them now are available for download for PDFs, and that's really thanks to you guys. So we'll do the same process here. As soon as we can, we'll release this to PDFs for you guys to do the last looks overs, but. These booster campaigns allow us to get these products created, tested, and then to market and to you guys and shipped. Whereas if you go for a bigger project with a whole lot of stretch goals and you don't really know if you're going to meet them or not, there's so many more questions there. It's harder to plan those. It's harder to get those into distribution and shipped right and get those back and forth from the printers. So we like these just because they're very they're front loaded. You see what you're going to get. And I know people love stretch goals, but I think they're not always the right way to get the best products to you guys, especially for Rifts, where you guys have really backed this for multiple years. There's a lot of excitement, and we're really getting through a lot of material now. I think Sean's putting out an update. He'll be in after he gets this a final update. He's putting out on the Kickstarter. So after that, he'll be on stream. But with Kevin mentioned that we did like 2 different interviews with Kevin Sabita, and you guys can check those out. They are on demand on the Twitch still, and they're on our YouTube channel. And so I think one of the things he brought up is that there's been a real like stride reached between Pinnacle and Palladium on these products, and the ease of getting things approved and written and then art done and all that. It's very much in kind of a cohesive, really good place right now. So because we have so much coming down the pipeline for you, we kind of want to get these to you. And if we did bigger Kickstarters, that would only just space it out, right? So we've already told you that Rift South America is coming, and there's the other things in the pipeline. And I mean, there's just so much there. There's so much good content. We really want to get it to you guys. So
yeah, we have to say thank you so much for let's take like a benchmark here at the beginning and at the end of our stream today. So we're at 135,695 as I look at it right now. And that is, y'all, that is amazing. Thank you so much for that. Because when we do these boosters, like Chris was saying, yeah, we've got like, okay, this is what we're going to do. This is how much we need for it. And we're going to, because we know that this is exactly what we're going to do, we're going to just give you this much off of it. Like we're going to make this much of a deal for you. Like free archetype cards in a cool little box that you can keep hanging on to them. And they're going to be in like a dossier format is what we're thinking right now. And we'll just see how the layout goes for that. We're adding more archetype cards to that for Atlantis. So it'll be a complete set of 18. I mean, well, you need 18 because Rifts has such a variety, right? So, we've got so much going on here, and it really makes us feel so good when we see those numbers tick up, both for backers and for the dollars, because that's money that we've already got committed to this project, already being used to pay the artists, the amazing art for this, for this game that we've created here, and the writers and all the layout people, and hey, Chris is not cheap. Well, actually, he is cheap, but. No, I mean, there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes, and all of that is your support, and it's feeding our families, and we take that to heart every single day as we sit down to have dinner. So thank you very much. That is not something we take for granted. And we appreciate it more than you know. So,
yeah, and you guys have been great on this Kickstarter. Obviously it's a 2-weeker, so we're the longer the campaigns, they get a little drawn out and they're hard because you get this lull. And really, we haven't had a lull. I mean, the funding levels every day have been a great little increase. And you guys were very polite and great on all the discussions we had, and we asked you to take some of those off to our own forum. It was a little easier to moderate there, and you guys did great on that. So thank you for that. The community really was great on that, and we listened, and some changes were made. So great on all that. Here's one thing. So before we get to Atlantis, I'm going to do a little throwback because you guys have been asking before we get to some of the questions about like what do these pawns look like, right? And one of the big things in this booster campaign is the pawn set. And I can't show you the wrist pawns, but I'm going to go back and show you a PDF that we've got for the ETU Study Abroad pawn set, and so you can kind of see what they look like, how they come, and just the really cool feature is that so this is what the pawn sheet looks like. This is the layout. The pink is where the die cut is going to be. So these are all on really good rag board, and they're die cut individually, high gloss, full color, CMYK print. And so they're really kind of very, very sturdy. They're really good quality. And but the nice thing is that for almost all the art, we've got front and back art. So and it's not just like a black back piece that when you had artists do art and you weren't planning for this, sometimes you can't get the backs done by the artist. But these ones, you see all of the great ETU archetype characters and some of the monsters. The Jim Bro. You've got your dad. the boyfriend your dad wants you to bring home, the emo boy you really want to date, and then the cultist you actually bring home to get dad to negotiate and let you date the emo boy. But anyways, and a very nice savage bull, and that's a very handsome savage bull right there. But if you see on the next page is the back of all these, you can see that the art was rendered very lovingly. I mean, these are the same quality we have on the front of these pawns is the quality on the back of the art. So you can tell who the characters are. They're really nicely done on the reverse of the art. Let's see where my mouse goes so I can continue scrolling. So and you can see, like, for some of the monsters, we give you double, so you get 2 copies of the monster. And like the chupacabra, everybody needs the chupacabra.
You gotta have enough chupacabras, yeah.
Right.
And cultists. Yeah. You can never run out of cultists. Yeah.
Right. So on these kind of sheets, you can see that we've got great front art and great back art, and they're easy to pop out. You don't have to worry about damaging.
Hang on now. You're doing a spoiler alert there. Scroll back up.
Okay.
Don't do that.
Can't see any of those. Shh. So I'm already getting in trouble. But so these are what the pawn sets look like. This is why I'm not showing you the Rifts pawns, because I get in a whole lot of trouble. And Sean can beat me up. I might be able to take Jody, but I don't know if I could take Sean. So so that's kind of what you guys wanted to see. And there are multiple sheets. There's so many of these pawns. We got to put them in a box for Rifts. And then also the archetypes. For ETU, we did archetype cards, because for ETU, the information is a little more simple and they fit on a card. For Rifts, the archetypes are so information packed, they don't fit on a regular size card. So they're actually folding dossiers, and those will come on their own box too. So that's just a little sneak peek. And
since we were talking about pawns there, I had a chance to look at some other pawns that we picked up at a game store recently to kind of fill out our Savage Rifts game, because we're playtesting. Hey, Sean, how are you?
Hey, how's it going? How you doing?
Good.
Doing good. Trying to get the word out the last minute. I'm still texting and doing some posting.
I know. Well, let me finish my thought on those pawns. So the die cut thing is a really big deal, because, like, if your creature is bigger than the way that the pawn is cut, then you kind of cut off their head sometimes, or you've got like a piece of the arm, maybe like it gets cut off or something like that. With these die cut, you're not missing a bit of the creature. You're not like having to guess at, like, what's beyond the border here that kind of got left behind on the tray, So, and also these Rifts pawns, y'all, these are bigger than the Deadlands box set. We went 12 sheets on this box set, and there are 8 sheets in the Deadlands box set for the first one. And of course, we're going to continue these pawns because they've been so popular, and I think they're just really cool. So, we can't get enough of these pawns, and we're going to keep making them. So no worries there. But we knew that with Rifts, as with everything, you just have to go big or go home. So we're going big, and y'all have certainly gone big with this Kickstarter. So speaking of going big, see who's working with one of our big properties here, Sean Robertson.
Howdy guys, how you doing? It's good to see the fans. I just want to say, first and foremost, as if you're watching this live or if you're watching it afterwards, how much we appreciate your support. Bringing a property like Rifts to Savage Worlds isn't always easy. And there's a lot of challenges, from design and writing, all types of art, right? Making sure we get everything right. And I really appreciate everyone's enthusiastic support for the product line and for the work that I do and the rest of the team does. I've mentioned it before. We have pawn wizards and artists and editors and developers and people like Jody, who work tirelessly behind the scenes and in front of the scenes to help us make sure that we have a really great presentation for the products. And so I can't say enough how much the entire team appreciates your support and the faith that you put in us. It's such a weird thing. It really messes with me. When we first did the American Armageddon Kickstarter, I was kind of blown away, because I'd written this book, Empires of Humanity, but no one had really seen the book and they were buying it. And so It kind of freaked me out. But again, the reception from the fans has been awesome. And then we got to do a great playtest and feedback period, which we will be doing with this book as well. And this time I've sent out more copies to a lot of fans and close friends. So it's really fun to see the reaction. So if that is any gauge, I think you guys. And you've seen a lot. I think with this Kickstarter, we've done an unprecedented amount of sneak peeks, both through the Ian World article, that if you haven't seen it, you can easily Google for that. We have the Undead Slayer preview, and then we also did I think it was update number 3. We talked about the legacy backer update that we did with the Tattooed Warrior and some of the early the Gazetteer storyline to help get players immersed in the coming horror and excitement of Atlantis. So again, we appreciate everything. We're really happy with the feedback and excited for you to see the rest of the book very soon.
Yeah, and I mean, getting those review copies out is good because we've got to get the attention of people on the internet who have never seen Savage Rifts before. Some of them have never even seen Rifts before, like Chelsea, who played in your actual play. Oh yeah, check out the link there. And by the way, Sean, Clint and I just finished watching it on demand because we were out of town when it aired live. Man, you run a good game. You ran a great game, and it was very entertaining. And I can't wait to see what happens with Chelsea and PK's little lava child. I want to see the further adventures of
Magma Baby.
Magma Baby.
Now we've got the superpowers, companion coming in the near future. We've already teased that. So, there could be a possibility for us to stat out Magma Baby once that gets going. So we'll see when that happens. We'll see. I know a lot of fans are really excited about that release for Rifts, and so am I. But that's the great thing about Savage Worlds, and that's the great thing about Palladium books. It's kind of peanut butter and jelly because both systems are built to do it all, right? And that's what I think has been really fun working with the fans, working with Kevin Sambita, working with Shane and Clint, and everyone else on the design for this stuff. I love rules. I love getting in there and tinkering and tweaking and stuff. Yeah, it's going to be really fun, and you can do anything like that. I mean, weird little fun things like that happen in a session. You can stat it out. You can build it up, and that's one of the things that I really enjoy about role playing. And Savage Worlds just gives you that all the ammo you need to be able to do that very, very, very quickly and smoothly, and with a little, with at least some idea towards balance. There's no such thing as perfect balance, especially when you've got plasma cannons and ray guns and stuff like that. But it's really fun.
Good to see that Shane is in the chat tonight.
Right, Shane's sneaking into the chat, and I tried to convince him to get on the stream and give us a little sneak preview of some super stuff. So maybe he'll do that if you guys are nice and cheer him on. Maybe we'll get him on the stream. But the that live play was fantastic. And again, you guys can check that out. It's still on demand on Twitch. It is up on our YouTube. It's a really fun actual play. And I think I've convinced Sean to run that for us maybe once a month, maybe once every other month. Get in there. Have some fun.
I'd really like to. I'm glad everybody had fun. It's when I play my Rifts games, and we'll see what we can bring in the future. That one, I really wanted to kind of go for the over-the-top action sequence type experience that you might get in a Michael Bay movie or something like that. But at the same time, sometimes I like to play stuff that's a little more down and dirty. But, if for anybody who hasn't seen it yet, please go check it out. I did my best to get a TPK, a total party kill. And you'll just have to see the results. Whether or not I achieved that or not is exciting, and I don't want to spoil it. But whether or not I did, maybe I didn't, but maybe I would say that I'm very proud of what I was able to accomplish. So.
Yeah, we had a lot of people subscribe during that, and if you subscribed, you were able to give out some bennies, and so there was a little more bennies than I think a normal game would have. So I think some characters survived because of the chat crowd. throwing some love at their way. And they definitely threw some love to you. You got some extra bennies there at the end. You could have been a little meaner with, but we did almost have a character, down and out, or two, I think. And hey, even during the first one, the very first encounter, the Marine you're supposed to protect almost got obliterated in the first salvo. So it was a fantastic AP. Oh, and
it was. I'll say I have to give some more careful consideration to exactly the effect of Shane, or I would say a Clint Benny, right? What does that mean? People seem to attach so much value to it. I really went back afterwards and I thought and I pondered, did I handle this correctly? No, but I had a lot of fun. In the future, we will make sure that there is something very specific when we have people like Shane or Clint in the stream throwing bennies at stuff. Because they deserve it. They've been around Savage Worlds for a little while and helped to contribute a little bit. So,
well, you said the magic words. You spoke his name, and he appears. Welcome to the stream, Shane Hensley, guys.
Hey, Shane.
Hello. Congratulations, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations to you too, and I hope you're not sweltering down there in Arizona tonight.
I just went for a run.
I swear you are part dragon.
You are a desert creature, sir.
I've been copying the part lizard for quite a while, but part dragon sounds really neat.
I know. Well, this is Rifts, so yeah, part dragon hatchling.
Yeah, fair
maybe
enough.
You've got a few more. You're a little long in the tooth for a dragon hatchling, though.
Ouch. I don't know, Sean. How long do dragons live in Rifts?
Like thousands of years, millennia.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Then you are a hatchling. Yeah, you're still
definitely
just
still a hatchling, sir.
Yep.
There we go. Oh yeah.
It's only 109. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Lucky huckster Simon sweating away, making sure all these pawns look fantastic. So,
but it's a dry heat.
It is a dry heat.
I'm down in Houston. It's pretty bad.
It's humid in Houston. It's crazy humid. My parents live in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and it's crazy humid there too.
Yeah.
Oh, I think Abuela Sargar has it right. You're harrowed.
I'll probably look at today. I'm a little haggard, but
he does have replacement parts. That knee is not new. That knee was not original. So
that's true. That's true.
Is it
Where do I see
strange
these
for that?
comments? I don't see any comments.
If you go over to the comments tab instead of private chat in StreamYard.
In Stream. Oh, I was looking in Facebook. Okay.
Oh yeah. No. Chris manages the magic, so it's all here.
Yes, we pull in the streams.
Yeah.
Cool.
So now that we have Shane here, does anybody have any questions for Shane or for Sean? Or Chris, because there's lots of things that you could probably ask him. And really, out of the three of them, Chris is the one who's going to tell you the most.
I know, but I got to bite my tongue now that Shane's here, right? When the boss is in town, you got to play nice.
It's not him you have to worry about.
Oh, that's true. That's true. So Shane, we did promise Shane that we know you've been hard at work on the Supers Companion, and during our launch stream, we announced that the next two big crowdfunders that we're going to do are going to be next month. So you guys have weeks of planning. So save those paychecks. Is going to be the Supers Power Companion. So hopefully we're going to launch that in August on a crowdfunder,
Or even the Superpowers Companion.
What did I say? Did I say
Supers
pineapple?
Power. Pineapple something.
Pineapple Entertainment. That's Sean Hansley and yeah. So no one wants to hear me talk. They want to hear you talk. So is there any way you can give us a little sneak peek on what, either verbally or visually or both,
sure,
on what we might get from the Supers?
Yeah. What was the
Powers?
There you go. What was the other product you teased?
Oh, what are
we doing?
So Supers, we've announced Supers, and then we let people know that on October we're going to do Holler. And Tim is actually teaching a class right now, so he can't be on the stream. But he did send along. Actually, if you're here, if you want to do Holler first, we can do Holler first. Tim did send along a really funny little thing. So I'll do this first, and then people.
Okay, great.
I'll give you time to pull up some good stuff on your screen. So Tim Early, the creator of Holler, he's great. If you haven't seen him, we've done some actual plays with him. They're on our YouTube. But he sent along. We've got some new art direction for Holler that's taken since probably we last showed you some of the art. And he sent along a picture and an archetype. It's going to be in one of our future actual plays and one of the main archetypes in the book. And this archetype is called the Curious Youth. And so I'm going to do my best. I'm not a Southern boy, and no offense if I get it wrong, but I'm going to try my best because Tim made me promise I had to read Percy's little bio. So here's the bio of Percy Ray Bunch. I'm Percy Ray Bunch, you son of a cusses. I chopped down the biggest old boogeyman tree in the Great Craggies, and then my whole dang family turned into bears and sauntered off into the woods. People don't believe me when I tell them that, but if I'm lying, I'm dying, son of a cuss. So this is the Curious Youth archetype for Holler, which is coming to a crowdfunding platform near you this October. And I promised Tim that since he couldn't be here, I'd throw that up. But that's some of the great art. I love that art, the new kind of direction. And
I love the
that's
cap gun.
I do too. I noticed it too, the red top on it.
Right?
Okay, pull that back up, and I'm going to read it right.
Okay.
Yeah, Shane.
I'm Percy Ray Bunch, you sons of cusses. I chopped down the biggest old boogeyman tree in the Great Craggies, and then my whole dang family turned into bears and sauntered off in the woods. People don't believe me when I tell them that, but if I'm lying, I'm dying, son of a cuss.
Fantastic. A true son of the South, Shane Hensley, you are.
Sadly.
So that's a very exciting product. We already have several hours of actual play in the can, so we'll be showing that to you guys in the coming weeks. And we're going to celebrate Halloween Part 2 this October, where we did an online convention last year for Halloween, and we're going to do that again. So you guys will get an opportunity to watch some live streams, and if you're lucky, come and play in some Holler games. Holler is very exciting, and Tim's a great guy. So we wanted to make sure that that got represented as one of the future things we're doing. But before Holler in October, there's going to be the Super Powers Companion in August. What can you tell us, Shane?
So I can tell you a little bit. The structure of the book will be very familiar to anybody who saw, who played or read or saw the first one. But we've played it for years now, right? I don't remember when it came out. Maybe 2014, 2015, something like that. And we have played, I don't know, 100 hours or more of Super since then. So rather than a total redesign or anything like that, it's not. It's kind of like Suede was to Savage Worlds Deluxe, right? It's cleaned up, streamlined, and just we think overall better. We don't have the art in the book yet. We have art for all of the NPCs and tons of PCs that are going to be made into a pawn set. Okay. So that is going to launch with the Kickstarter. So if you want dozens of supers, whether you're going to play our game or any other game, just like with Rifts, we're going to be making all these pawns. So we have all those in black and white, and they are being colored now, and then we'll get the backs done and so on. But what that means is that all the characters that are in the book, the last time around, all the NPCs, they were made from second use art that we got primarily from Storn Cook, who was kind enough to let us use his art back then. But now we've gone through and made everything our own. It's all original. We'll own the image and the character now. So I went through and redid all of those characters too to form them into one cohesive world. Now you can still drop them into your own world however you want. For example, there are super zombies now. Okay. And the super zombies as a group of baddies have a background and a story and so on, and you can use them like that, or you can just take the stats and say, well, no, my super zombies come from this other event. So we got a lot of stuff like that in the game that are something that was previously done and redone with a very specific intent. Same thing with headquarters. Now they're called bases, and they're super streamlined. And the best part about them is it's not a point-buy system to construct a base anymore. It's all story-driven. So it's story-driven to get things for your base. Everything in the base can trigger these adventures. So I think that's pretty cool. And you're actually going to see that in all of the companions. There's a parallel system in all of them. And then, so I think Carl Kiesler did a little teaser on what the trade dress looks like. Now, I don't know if I can share my screen here on StreamYard. How do I do that?
At the bottom of your screen, there's a little button that says, "Oh, we'll get Shane back in here."
And do you mind if I make a couple of comments there? I guess Shane's gone.
Yeah,
So I can
absolutely.
Yeah,
Right.
he accidentally left the studio, so sharing something.
So just
He'll
to
be
fill
back.
in, oh, there we go. Shane, do you mind if I make a couple of comments?
Such a tease. There is a plus share
Yes,
button right
I
on the
got
bottom
it.
there, Shane.
I got it.
Cool. Do you mind if I make a couple of comments? Because we have some people asking about, or saying that they're excited about supers and sci-fi using it for riffs. So I just wanted to, if Shane doesn't mind, can I comment on that?
Yeah, but let me show this trade dress real quick, and then
Cool.
all yours. Now it's going to show my whole screen.
You should be able to do a window.
Yeah, hang on. Let me move things around here so it doesn't look so awful.
In other words, he's hiding stuff he doesn't want you to see.
Well, I think it's a big thing. So Shane didn't make a big deal out of it, but I think it's a very big thing. That for the Super's Power Companion, it's not just a companion. There's a whole like mini setting there.
There is a setting.
That's really big news.
Yeah, there's more to it than that. I'm not quite ready to share that news yet, but there is more to it than that. No, it's not Marvel or DC, but it's pretty cool. Okay, here we go. I think I can share the trade dress. Now, before we do, let me set expectations here. This is just text and some sidebars and so forth. But what I will show you, that didn't work.
Keeping us in
suspense.
suspense.
No. Do it. Do it again, Shane, and then I need to click add to stream. So
okay,
do exactly what you did. There we go, and then it'll pop up when you share. Boom.
Yeah. So Carl kind of stole a little bit of a Spidey vibe here, right, with the blues and reds. And this isn't final either, but it's getting pretty close. And wait till you see what the art looks like. It's great.
That looks great.
Yeah, the people we have doing art these days, like the Rifts pawns, the ETU pawns, the art for the books, all done through our buddies over at Sigil. Aaron Acevedo is our art director. Is just incredible. Our quality just goes up and up and up. And the people we work with, some of them have been with us for a long time and are just as good as they ever were. Some of them have been with us a long time and have upped their game just like we have. So we're really proud of where we're at production wise. So that is a preview of the trade dress. I don't have anything else I can share with you right now, but there's a sneak peek.
That's enough. And it does look great. I mean, not that the stuff from 2014 didn't look great, but man, over getting Carl and just the updates to the content. And I'm super excited just about the fact that these books, they're a toolkit, and I think toolkits are great. And I love that Aces are doing toolkits, and that's really super functional. But the fact that there's more, right?
Yeah, that's the old one, right? So I mean, they looked good, but this one, especially once you see the way the art treatment's getting done and stuff, it's going to look beautiful. And I think the original plays very well with some problems that needed fixing. Those have been fixed, and I think just the core system of it, the basic powers that people use most of the time, are just so much cleaner and easier to use, because I've now had to make over 100 supervillains with it, which is a really good way to stress test your rules.
Yeah, for
all
sure.
in a day's work for Shane.
Wow, those archetype card boxes are going to be thick.
Yeah, we will have pre-made archetypes for people on the archetype cards like we do these days, which is just so handy, right? I mean, especially for Deadlands. When I grab my Deadlands ones and I go to a game store or even just with friends, and can just throw out those cards and nobody has to make characters, and the people who want to can. Oh my gosh, I mean, that's such a huge deal. And the Rifts ones, man, I can't wait to get those. They're going to be these big dossiers for those who haven't heard that before. So they're bigger and they have all your information on there.
Yeah, I think those are going to be really awesome too. And just for a comment there, I know a lot of Rifts for Savage Worlds fans are super excited about the companions, especially the superpowers and the sci-fi companion. And one of the things that we already have out there, if you want to get a jump start on it without, say, a full points build system, is we do have the vehicle guide, the Savage Worlds vehicle guide out there that I worked on. But Shane asked me to take that knowledge and take a look at what was coming up in the sci-fi companion and what was coming up in the superpowers companion, and make sure that it would mesh well with Rifts for Savage Worlds. And so I saw a lot of this stuff a ways back, right? I didn't see the new some of that new stuff by Carl Kiesler, which is amazing. He's great, and he's done some great updates. We've got cool little tentacles and stuff like that. If you haven't noticed in the updated Atlantis and the Demon Seas book, so that's a lot of fun. But when it comes to superpowers and sci-fi, we do plan to make sure that the fans have, we'll do a little play test and feedback period, but make sure the fans have something fun that they can do and have good guidelines for building some superheroes and using those in Rifts for Savage Worlds. But also the sci-fi companion, I went through it and we'll see what the final product is, but I really did some damage and made sure that, the power armor and the body armor and the different systems are going to be something that you could use to easily approximate and have it slide right in for use with Rifts for Savage Worlds. So if you want to build custom power armor, you want to build custom robots and vehicles, the Suede vehicle guide that we've got, Rifts for Savage Worlds, right? It's all part of a nice sliding scale so that you can have guys running around with, out of time with an old German tank, like a Tiger tank facing off against a glitter boy, and then someone else pulled a hover tank out of some other setting or whatever. It'll all mix well together, and they'll all kill each other in nice killy ways. So I'm really excited about that though, and it was exciting to be to have any hand in that. So I'm really I think that the time to be a Rifts for Savage Worlds player, there's like never a better time than right now, and what's coming up soon is pretty freaking great.
Card 52, they will definitely be a Kickstarter.
And while we still have Shane on, so Shane's got to get back to work on the Superpowers companion. But while we still got you here, I don't want to be the one to break this news, but I want to force you two to break it. We haven't decided how this is coming out yet, but there's been such a love for the Rifts line, and there's a really special product that no one else has talked about yet. Begins with a T. I don't know whether Sean wants to break it or Shay wants to break it.
Oh, this is
I'll break it.
Sean's. Yeah, this is his coup, and this is something I am so excited about.
And I'll tell the fans, Shane's excited about it. I'm excited about it, and Kevin Simbita is also really excited about it. We want to announce Terror on the Dark Frontier. This is going to be the first mega box campaign that you can play for Rifts. And obviously it's being written for Rifts for Savage Worlds, but Kevin is really excited about Palladium players as well being able to use the adventure material in their games. We're going to have a lot of it's preliminary, right? It's in production. We're working on a lot of things, but it's very similar to what was the Deadlands set? It's Horror at Headstone Hill. Oh!
Let me grab it.
Yeah, just so you can see the type of production that we're aiming at. And our team was I've put together a little development team for Rifts for Savage Worlds, and we were really excited by what we saw that the team had done for Deadlands, and we said we want to do that for Rifts. So one of the coolest things we've made in quite a while for Deadlands, I think, is Horror at Headstone Hill. So this is kind of a sandbox campaign with a plot point campaign in it, which has all kinds of nifty goodies. This kind of harkens back to the old TSR days, right? So not only does it have new characters, it's got monster cards and threat cards. It's got all kinds of super cool props. This is an actual bits of newspapers and so forth you can find in your investigations. It's got special pawns just for that set. It's got a map of the campaign area in it. It has a special card deck of these events that can happen. It's got a player's book that shows them what's in, what they're in store for, and kind of acquaints them with the area. And then, of course, the actual campaign book for the game master, all in this gorgeous box, and even a special cool little die. Now, I don't know what will be in the Rift set exactly, but that's what's in Horror at Headstone Hill, and it will be somewhat equivalent, right? It'll be different bits and pieces, but it'll be cool just like that. And I don't want to make any promises just in case something changes, right? But we do have some. I mean, the ideas we've got, I think that everyone's going to be really excited. Of course, a lot of times we have to make sure that that the actual product and can line up with what we get to you guys. But and there's been a weird pandemic and all types of other stuff affecting prices of things like wood and paper and all types of junk. So all those things have to be taken into consideration, but we think this is going to be something super premium for people to play. And it's going to explore the Comanche Preserve and the lore around that area in a way that I think that a lot of Rifts fans are going to really enjoy being able to really dig into that region. If you're an old Rifts gamer, you might remember some of the books will detail cities and different places you can go and stuff like that. And so we're hitting kind of the same thing where we do intend to have a map that you can see different areas of the region that you could travel to with little adventure jump offs and stuff like that. But it's all threaded together with a central plot point campaign that I've had a hand in, and we have some really, really talented people working on. So I'm super stoked about it, and I kind of wanted to wait until we had the cover done, but I just felt like tonight is the time to really just let you guys know. Everybody's been really super enthusiastic about the Atlantis Rising Kickstarter campaign, and so I wanted to go ahead and let you know, not only do we have South America in the works, and it's coming along, it's at a very healthy stage. It's really good stuff that we've got going. Super excited to show that to you when the time is right. But also we've got Terror on the Dark Frontier in the works, and I think it's going to be awesome. So again, it's never been a better time to be a Rifts for Savage Worlds fan or a Rifts fan, I think, with all the different things we've got coming for gamers, whether you're playing with Savage Worlds or playing with the Palladium rules, with the archetype, with the pawn sets, the VTT support that we're putting out there that anyone could use, the maps, the adventure material, with really killer art. I mean, you can just see like what's behind Jody, what's behind me, what's on our Kickstarter page. This, like Shane was saying, I mean, our artists are really stepping up. The art directors, our friends our close friends at Sigil are really stepping up. And we've just been really blown away and excited about everything that we've got to show you guys. So again, thanks.
So let me ask a favor of everybody watching the live stream right now. We have 48 minutes, according to my Kickstarter, for Rifts. And people get tired of seeing us hawk our wares on our social media, right? So I would ask some of you to do us a favor, not because we need to make more money. I mean, more money is always good, right? And we can do more things with it. But inevitably, every time we close one of these, Jody will get dozens of emails saying, I never heard about this. How did I not know about it? And then they don't get a few of the cool things that everybody else gets. We in the late pledge stuff, we usually give people just about everything. But if you support us on Kickstarter and you're the first, you get a little bit more. So I will ask you a favor to please go out and just tell everybody, hey, this has, less than an hour to go. If it's something you want, go and grab it. If you're not interested in it yet and want to get it at your local store later, awesome, that's fine too. But we want to let everybody know so they have a chance, because it's just hard to get things out to stores. Stores are still so overwhelmed or suffering from the pandemic or whatever. We sell to stores. We love stores. We go to stores and do demos. We do all kinds of stuff with them. But direct is still, or most people buy our products these days. Probably 60, 70%. So if you could put the word out for us, that would be awesome. And you must have, because the total just went up again.
Yeah.
It is crazy. I mean, obviously we like looking at backers more than dollars, but it's been like I refreshed and it's like a $10,000 refresh. So guys, it's been a great day on the Kickstarter. Thank you so much for that. But one of the things we're trying to do now, obviously, by giving you so much more advanced notice for things, right? Because we're still a small company. It's scary for us to make commitments months out, just in case, things happen. Yep. It's tough to do that, right? Because we don't want to ever not make those commitments. Right. But if you're just joining us, we've given you a whole lot of information about Rifts that if you're still on the fence, it's super playable, right? I mean, not only do we have the books that are already in print, you can go back and get some great adventures. The North American content is really thick. Now Atlantis, which is a whole continent with its own adventures in it, and then all these pawns that are going to be looking great on your table. And then we're also making a commitment to you that, hey guys, coming down the pipeline, we're not only are we doing more area source books for even more chances for adventure, but this campaign in a box is super exciting. I mean, that's if you're on the fence about, I don't know if I can run Rifts yet, I might pick up Terror on the Dark Frontier, because that is a microcosm of a product that will allow you to experience Rifts with all the props, with the maps, all the things to make it very easy to just run the game, right? So to us, that we're giving back to you guys because you've shown such love for this line, and that's exciting that for things we used to only be able to do for Deadlands, right? And that box that Shane showed is an amazing box. If you haven't picked that up yet, it is available. Go grab that. But that campaign in a box, I mean, it makes Savage Worlds is already very easy to run and play, and this makes it just even easier, right? It lowers the bar even further on. Here are all the props, here are the pawns, everything you need, just except the Suede. But you guys should have Suede already, right? Go buy Suede. So that's our commitment to you, is that this is not only are we it's not a one and done. This is a product line. This has legs. That's exciting for us to be able to. I like pushing a little bit more. Like, hey guys, let's tell them, because I already can't pronounce Super Powers Companion, and having to bite my lip on all of this stuff. It's like, when you get hired on, they're like, we have secrets for you, Lander. I'm like, I'm not good at keeping secrets. So this one is one that I've been sitting on. So Terror in the Dark Frontier is super exciting. Everybody, Atlantis is iconic for Rifts. And then Terror that's new content, right? That's new. Kevin has shown so much trust in Pinnacle and in Sean to be able to. I mean, if you didn't listen to the last interview, Kevin came down and said, "Savage Rifts is Rifts. This is part of the canon," and really that's a lead up to what Terror in the Dark Frontier is about, being able to create within that megaverse, and that's super exciting, right? I mean, that is a lot of trust. It's decades of Kevin's baby. Being raised a little, as you can say, in Sean's hand. So, Sean, maybe let's get you on the stream, because no one wants to hear me talk. What's it been like, not only picking up the torch for Savage Rifts, but also being, elevated to, hey, you can create content, you can delve into the lore and create canon. Tell us about that experience.
Well, it's been a weird. I never expected it kind of experience. I know that very early on, Shane Hensley put a lot of trust in me, and I felt very excited. I was super stoked, just to be able to come in and work on Rifts for Savage Worlds. And the whole Pinnacle family has been amazing. And I geeked out. I just getting to email and then phone call Kevin over art and stuff like that. That was really awesome. And then when I was at Gen Con a couple years,
I remember introducing you to Kevin, and you were just kind of like, I get to meet Kevin.
I know. And thanks again, Shane.
And it was so cute. And he's so wonderful and so laid back, and he was just as eager to meet you. He really was.
He was, and that's what surprised me, is just how impressed he was with everything that was going forward with. At that time, we finished we were almost done with the final, sending off all the files to the printers and all this stuff for the American Armageddon Kickstarter, with the revised edition of Rifts for Savage Worlds, which I was very pleased that he was so pleased, right? And that he was so happy with it. And it took me for a loop the other night, Landauer, when we were doing that interview with Kevin, and he's like, this isn't someone else's interpretation of Rifts. Rifts for Savage Worlds these are expansions for Rifts. And when he said that, I was just kind of like, I didn't expect that. It's just such high praise from him, because he's and rightfully so, just like Shane is, I'm sure, with Deadlands. Kevin is very particular about what he wants to see explored and thematically happen when other writers come in to work on Rifts. So, but he's taken that same care with with Rifts for Savage Worlds as he would his own products. And he's actually been very inspired seeing some of the things that we've done. I think that Pinnacle has a lot of things they do great. And Kevin's very positive, very, very, very happy with it. Again, that's part of the reason why he said, I don't have any plans to do any pawns or miniatures or anything like that anytime soon. So if you guys could fill in that need for the community, when he okayed the pawns, when he okayed the virtual tabletop support for Rifts for Savage Worlds, I mean, these are all things that are super exciting. And then on top of that, for him to be able to say, I really enjoyed reading through the proposed updates for the South America book, and then just I really like these because I went to him with the high level ideas once we'd hammered out a lot of the details on Terror for the Dark Frontier, or Terror on the Dark Frontier, and so he was just so positive about those things and said, yeah, have fun, fill in these gaps. It's a really great working relationship, and it's super exciting to be able to create in this sandbox and play in the sandbox. And to have the trust from Shane on the rules end, right, to go with it, and have Shane and Kevin and Clint and Simon and Jody and everybody else just helping pitch in to make sure that we have the best product possible. It's a really great feeling as a creative person, as an artiste, with a little A.
Yeah,
as a writer.
Let me add too. We just went through this with Pathfinder. We've done it on really everything since Suede, I think. But where we put the book up for backers a few weeks before we send it to the printer, sometimes many weeks, depending on how big the project is, like Pathfinder. And that's a really big deal for us. Let me step back one level even further. Prior to a couple of years ago, it was pretty much me and Jody. There was a freelancer typically who would work on a book, and then I'd take it and develop it and finish it up. And then, like Sean and Ross on the original Rifts, they did their thing, and then I did my part to it. And then Sean Robertson took over and, got 7 books landed in his lap, for the first redo. And that was a big task, right? And it's hard to find somebody who can do that kind of work. And work with us and in our style, and you're with Simon's help, and I'm getting to that, right? But what's happened is as people support us and let us do these things, where we did this much on a booster for Rifts, and we had success with ETU Study Abroad and Moons of Mongo for Flash that Scott Woodard wrote, and so on. That allows Pinnacle to have a few extra hands on board, right? So it's not. So, for example, Sean, how many people do you have in your Rifts development team now? 5 or 6 core guys? Core people? Yeah. So, just managing Sean in that group would have been beyond me a few years ago. But now I've got Simon, and I've got Chris. We've had Jody for a while. We have people like Jess and Don Shepis and all these other people you see on our streams and so on. And the support that you guys have given through these boosters and the Kickstarters and so on, it's a catalyst, right? It's a snowball effect. It gets bigger and bigger, and we're able to do more stuff. And then you add in people like Simon. Simon Lucas is our production guru, right? And I never believed we could pull off pawns. I just didn't think we could get it done, and they wouldn't look good. And it was something that I didn't have the bandwidth to explore. Simon says he's listening, but Simon says, no, we can do it. So he puts them together, and by God, he did them. And the Deadlands pawns are fantastic, but it goes beyond that. They're not just pawns. They're die cut pawns around the shape of the figure. That's a huge expense that he figured out how to make economical for us, right? And then, as you know, probably for many years, the backs of all of our figures and the figure flats before we did pawns were just black, right? Because that's what I could manage to do in the time I had between running the company and writing, almost everything we did and so on. But Simon said, no, we can get the backs done, and he got the backs done. And then guys like Simon and Matthew Cutter with things like Horror at Headstone Hill says, I want this to be like one of those old cool TSR box sets with all these extra props and newspapers and stuff like that. And I'm thinking, yeah, sure, guys, you'll be lucky to get the book done. But my God, they did it again, right? So fortunately, I get to kind of sit back now and get out of the way and let people who are a little more ambitious about this stuff, because I'm primarily a writer, right? And they like the toys and stuff. So do I, but I don't have the right brain to make them. So now we get into stuff like Rifts, and with the upcoming Terror on the Dark Frontier, you know, I can't imagine what's going to be in that box. But I know the lore of Rifts is still intimidating to me, but being able to hop into a sandbox like Terror on the Dark Frontier and play kind of a concentrated story, that's really appealing. I mean, I could even run that, right? I'm very excited about it. And, you know, there'll be pointers to, you know, if I don't know about this, I can look it up in the, you know, Armageddon set, or, you know, Rifts Atlantis or South America or whatever. So it all builds and comes together into the, you know, the incarnation that you're seeing with the stuff Pinnacle gets to do these days. And, you know, Pathfinder and Rifts and Supers and Deadlands and all these crazy things. And, you know, who would have thought 16 years ago that, you know, I need to make this rule set before I go off and do video games would still be around. And that is because people like Sean and Clint and Jody and so on have taken it and made it better and more streamlined and cleaner, and, you know, kept it from being the garage operation that I started off with, so that we now have, you know, these crazy good products that, you know, I put them next to Hasbro products. And I think they're just as good, right? I mean, they're different, but they're just as good. That's amazing. I mean, we're 4 full-time people, 5 or 6 part-time people, and a whole bunch of freelancers. It's amazing. So thanks, Sean. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Clinton, Jody. Thanks, Simon. Thanks, Jess, Don, everybody else. Chelsea and Christine, who keep us all sane. Erica, I know I'm forgetting people. When I start mentioning people, I'm forgetting people. So my apologies in advance. And I know, you know, fans don't want to just hear a list of names, but the fact that you guys support us by buying our products and sharing the links and so forth, that's what allows all of this to happen and make cooler, better stuff, especially the things that probably never would have come to light, like Holler, right? Holler is just an amazing product. Now, wait till you see the art for it. My desktop is the Game Master screen for it because it's so beautiful. And all of that is happening because of all these other successes. So thank you.
Yes, thank you, everybody who's watching. Thank you for everybody who's backed this project. Thank you for everybody who's backed all of our pad projects. It all just kind of keeps dogpiling on itself. And now I'm imagining that, like, the coalition soldiers, like on the cover of Empires of Humanity, like they're all like, that's all what it all takes. It's like they're all kind of like coming together to raise the flag, you know?
Iwo Jima.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, and this is really exciting. So the I think Abuelo says it really well. So speaking as someone who's been watching RPG design and development since the late 70s, Shane, if every game creator had the awareness you do and what you're capable of and what should be left as anyone else, we would all be living in an entirely different gaming world. I think one of the things that we brought up, and I one of these days we got to get you and Kevin on the same stream. But one of my observations was, I mean, this is the year we're celebrating the 30th anniversary of Rifts and the 25th anniversary of Deadlands. So come to Deadwood, guys. Like, last call on that. We are booking out things. We're getting stuff printed this week. So if you aren't ready to come to Deadlands, Deadwood. We're going in August. It's going to be fun. We're celebrating Deadlands 25th. But I mean, you consider 25 years and 30 years. That is an amazing legacy in RPGs. And one of the interesting things is, you know, you and Kevin are one of the few creators who are, one, still churning out amazing content for those games, but two, still own those companies. I mean, there's been so much consolidation and movement, and like D&D is an entirely different beast today than it was 20 and 30 years ago. But Deadlands and Rifts are these pillars in the community. I think it's fantastic that you guys found a way to come together to produce savage Rifts. Kind of we like the phrase chocolate and peanut butter. You get all that content of Rifts, 30 years of adventures and of world building, and then the amazing Savage Worlds role-playing system underneath it. And then for Deadlands, I mean, there's so many exciting things coming up for Deadlands too that we can't tell you, but we're going to spoil one of them at Deadwood. So if you come to Deadwood, there's a huge spoiler that you're going to have to sign a non-disclosure agreement to even hear it. No phones, no cameras. But I mean, there's really big stuff. With Kevin, we even talked about just all his process of trying to get a movie made out of Rifts and just having big names attached to that. So there's super exciting things that people love these worlds. They love playing in them. It is part of the lore that they choose. So I just want to thank you, Shane, for making a great game and for making Deadlands, because none of us would be here if you didn't do that. So I know you're downplaying the fact that you're in a garage, but lots of good things got created in a garage. The internet got built in a garage, and hey, so maybe this isn't the internet, but the internet's full of amazing gaming. So yeah, the one of the people we do need to thank, so I'm not going to let you talk, Shane, is the VTT folks. And a lot of questions we've gotten on the previous streams is, will this come to VTT? Answer is yes. You will be able to. Some of the companies, they do it on their own time schedule, so we have no control over that. How we do that is we get the books to them as fast as possible, and then they do it. But our in-house VTT team, Amy and crew, they are amazing. They've been supporting our live streams. They've been behind the scenes in the last 3 live streams we did. So I think Foundry, we've kind of been showing off Foundry is kind of one of those. So all of the amazing Foundry and all the little gizmos you can add to that, that's because of our VTT team. So we want to thank them too. They've been amazing. They don't really get on camera as much, but it does allow us to, no matter where you are, if you want to come play live, like in Deadwood, or you can come to the big conventions, we're going to be running games there, or you can stay home or at your office and you can run virtually. So these games are accessible for you no matter where you are. So that's exciting developments. And how many minutes do we even have? 30 minutes.
30 minutes.
30 minutes and counting.
I'm glad you mentioned the VTT team, because that is one of the groups that I forgot to thank. And wow, VTT, right? What an explosion it's had this year. And trying to figure out which platforms to support and how to do it is really tricky for a small company. But Amy and that whole team over there has just been incredible. So that's great. And I forgot to thank you too, Chris. I mean, all the efforts you have made to get our faces up on camera, much as most of us hate it, has been phenomenal. And the live plays, oh my gosh, those have been so great.
Oh, I know the cast are fan. I mean, we found some great people. So that's another thing too. I mean, if you are the Alan Blounce of the world, and you love Savage Worlds, and you
Candace Taylor.
Oh gosh, yes, Taylor stayed up. It was like she stayed up from like 4 a.m. She's in Iceland. She was like 4 a.m. to like 7 a.m. to play in that game. With all that makeup on, the hawk makeup. And wasn't she fantastic? I mean, Candace, oh my God, we love Candace. Carl. So here's the thing. Carl, as amazing as he is, he's been keeping Candace secret for all these years. They've been playing in each other's games. And like Carl, how did you keep Candace a secret? So, I mean, it is amazing. We love bringing those talents. So if you guys are interested in joining our streams and you got the setup for it, the camera and a good enough computer, drop us a line, either info@PegInc or chris.landauer at Gmail. We'd love to get you guys on streams. We can't get everybody on stream because time is tight, but we do love bringing that to you. I mean, there's something about seeing the game played, and Sean did an amazing job. You really did try to go for a TPK. I mean, we weren't kidding. You were out for really blood there. Like, if Shane didn't throw some of those bennies your way, Sean, killer.
Yeah, well, I think that the interesting thing is that Rifts for Savage Worlds has some, it builds on the legacy of all of the different Savage Worlds companions and core rules, and so it's got some really cool balancing mechanisms in there that you'll see in the actual play that might sound like something surface level when you're reading through the rule book, say like the Blaze of Glory rules or the rules for blood and gore when you're rolling to see if your character dies, or what happens when they take that mega damage railgun shot to the face, and they're unarmored. But in the end, I think that's one of the a testament to all the people that have brought their skills and to the Rifts for Savage Worlds table and to the Savage Worlds table, so that we could have such a great game. And that, so it was really fun to run, but it was also really fun to just see the rules in action with the community involved at the same time. That was really neat. So I'm excited to do some more of that. And by the way, Landauer, good job, because I don't even know how you worked all that, because it must have been very tough. But
that was
being
an
able to
18
have
hour.
the audience,
Yeah, it was a 15-hour day, man. So that was crazy.
right,
So
right, and being able
an
to have the
easy
audience
day.
participation was amazing. The audience participation was amazing. So I just want to thank everybody that jumped in, and if we're going to do this again, and we'll be smoothing out the rough edges and stuff like that. So I really look forward to that. That was a really cool experience. I was actually trying to recreate, let me point this way, what I've seen Shane and Clint and others do at different conventions where we have the different charity games. So with audience participation. So really, if people enjoyed that, these are the guys that kind of set the precedent.
Yeah, for those who don't know, ChupacabraCon has these charity games where I guess Ed Wetterman started running them with Chickens in the
Right.
Mist, which is an East Texas University adventure.
Mhm.
Clint has done
Amazing.
one. I've done one. I think Ed is the perennial favorite. But I mean, Chickens in the Mist is such a classic, perfect game for that anyway.
I mean, did you see the size of that chicken? So, yeah.
Well, and yeah, I mean, you can
You're
use
up
your
chicken-
imagination.
You're bringing up
Yeah,
chickens with this, so I can't say anything because
It's a-
stream
it's
will go R-rated really quick.
Right,
That's
it's
the
a closed
safest thing to
door.
say.
Yeah, it's a closed door, adults only kind of thing, right? But yeah, so that's a really cool idea, and bennies make that very easy, and we've raised a ton of money for charities that way at those events. So I think that's a format that we should explore, even more in our live plays going forward. I think we interactive is our business, right? And interacting with the fans and having you guys have the audience have a part in that, it's pretty cool for us.
And one more thing to plug, because I got to see Shane run I think did you have 20 people at the table, or it was the supers versus supers, and that you were doing all the power stuff.
That one's just 12 people.
12
I've done
people.
20 people.
It was amazing. That was a great game. We might recreate something like that now that the super powers companion is coming out on the Savage Cruise. So we're going to play that. Jody's wearing the shirt. We are doing the Savage Cruise again, and because we will have the Superpowers companion already kickstarted before we get on the boat, we might have Shane run that on the cruise.
Yeah, I might do that again. I might do a new one. The last one was Justice League Dark versus the Midnight Sons and Daughters. So it's a Marvel DC horror heroes battle, and I've run it quite a few conventions now, and it's fun. There's a cheat to it that John Constantine can win for everybody if he wants, but otherwise one world is doomed. So that's pretty fun. I think I'm pretty excited for the adventure I'm going to run in Deadwood, which of course is a Deadlands adventure. It's called Thunder on the Mountain, and I'm pretty excited to see what will happen there. And I've got to put some finishing touches on it. But if you think you're going to come to Deadwood, of course you don't have to know anything to play the game, right? But if you want to read up on something, read up on The Last Sons, the plot point campaign.
Nice. Yes. And Shane and I were like making sure we're getting that on the schedule just today, so that the schedule's opening up, because we're getting down to the 6 weeks out, really, or maybe 5.5 weeks out on Deadwood. So make those reservations, folks. We got a lot of you coming up already. It's going to be a real fun time. We're mixing up the cultural highlights with gaming, and then of course the NDA Q&A. And then for the cruise, there's, I think October is kind of when you need last payment. So start thinking about that if you want to come on the cruise. Cruising is back open. The boats they are in the water now, so there's no worry about that. And we've got, I think, almost 130 people joining us on the cruise, and that's kind of the number we want. We're kind of right where we're like, that's a good number. So any last minute people who want to play some amazing supers and enjoy, we're going to Cozumel, Belize, and Costa Maya. So if you've never been to Belize and you want to come check out some temples with us, or just enjoy the beach, enjoy the gaming, families are welcome on that. So Savage Cruise 2020.
I'll tell you, it was the highlight of 2019 for my wife and I, the cruise. I mean, the cruise is fantastic. 2020, I guess it was. Yeah, it was January.
It was.
Yeah,
just before
2020 was the year that did not happen. You're absolved.
Right. Okay. Well, it was amazing, right? So the cruise was fantastic, and it's a cruise. That's what they're built for. But then getting to game in the evenings and hang out with all my best friends and gamer buddies, good Lord. So if you have any chance at all to go, please do. Cristiano asked, when is the fantasy companion coming out? It's going to be a while. So we just did Pathfinder, right? And we think that scratches the itch for half the people for quite a while. And I needed to get supers done first. It's probably the most complicated. And then I might get horror out next because it is the least complicated, but has some cool new stuff in it. And that will allow us to spend some extra time on sci-fi. So that will probably be third or fourth, depends on with it in fantasy. So it's probably going to be, 8 months or so before, unfortunately, we can get fantasy out. That's on me. The companions are all me, and I've got to do that and everything else too. So there are bits and pieces that are written by other people. Like Sean did some work on Sci-Fi Companion. Don Shepis has done some work on it. Several people have chimed in, but at the end of the day, the companions are, they're Shane things, and I've got to get those done myself. So it takes a while.
And it's going to be worth it. Don't worry. You're going to be happy with it. I'm
Dark
talking
Ages.
to the backers, Shane, not the.
Okay. I'm reading the comments on the side here. So Deadlands Dark Ages, John Goff has written, I'd say 90% of that, but we've got to find the right slot for it. With everything we do is crowdfunded these days, whether it's on Game on Tabletop or Kickstarter, and we can't do one a month, right? We're pretty close to that right now, but we don't want to how do you say it, overtax the community, right? Especially for so many of you that play everything we make, and boy, do we appreciate that. But we know everybody's got a budget, right? So Deadlands, Dark Ages, Deadman's Dark. Whew, I'm worse than you, Chris. It's been a long day. Deadlands Dark Ages will be a 2022 release.
I think it's okay. We can just go ahead and start calling it Dead Man's, because Deadlands.
Dead Man's.
Dead Man's Hand. And
Remy says, will the companions be I'm going to do some of these because I have to bail here in a few minutes and get back to Super's Companion. Will they be released individually? That is the plan. We had thought about doing like a bundle where it's all together in a slipcase, but if we do that, you're not going to get any of them till late next year. Nobody wants that. So what else? Something I was going to say earlier, Sean mentioned how great Kevin has been to work with. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world these days, and the game industry is not immune to it. And there's a lot of unhappy people in certain corners and sectors of the industry that get a lot of stage time. But in my experience, and I've been doing this for almost 30 years, that is not the vast majority of our industry or our community. So if you ever see that stuff, don't let it get you down. We talk with the Pathfinder guys, for the last, I've known most of them for over 20 years. And, we make a game based on their game. Does Coke get to make Pepsi? Does Pepsi get to make Coke? That doesn't happen. Kevin Simbita lets us play in Rifts, right? We let Steve Jackson Games make GURPS Deadlands years and years ago. Most of us, our friends, have known each other for years and want to see each other succeed. We want to succeed ourselves too, right? I mean, we're people, and we want to make money and do things and feed our kids. But the industry is pretty great. And I've been to conventions all over the world, and I have run games for thousands of people. And I can count on one hand the number of bad experiences I've had, whether in a game or with a person or whatever. So, I will leave on a high note here that the success of Rifts, the people that I get to work with daily, all the people I've mentioned before that I'm not going to try to do again because I'll forget somebody. And the Savage Worlds community, especially, because I've run games for many communities, and man, I love ours. I sit and I play a game, and these are the people I would play with at home, right? They're great. We're very fortunate. Let's all remember that. And when you see all this negativity on on the internet, sometimes remember that, man, we live in the best time ever to be alive. It doesn't mean things are perfect. We've got lots of room for improvement personally and in the world, but man, what a golden age for all of us to live in. And, you know, gaming is a small part of that, but it's an important part to a lot of us.
I think you struck the nail on the head there, Shane. It's just it's important to all of us, and we, as gamers, we all have that empathy because we role play, right? That's what we do. We get in each other's shoes, you know, metaphorically speaking. So sometimes when we're playing another character, it's easy for us to see it from some other people's sides. So I think if we take that with us out into the world, and I see a lot of gamers that do that. Anybody that I call gamer friend does that, you know, which is pretty much all of them. You know, I can't think of anybody who isn't. So yeah, it's easy, I think, for gamers to be friends and to carry forward the empathy and the joy that we have for our industry into the world.
Especially face to face, right, Jody? I mean, these things, these video conferences are much better than just the social media because you don't get tone. You don't get, I'm looking into your eyes and I'm listening to what you have to say and I'm trying to see your point of view, right? You just get snark and everybody's a Nazi. So it's great, you know, to get back to face for real, to do these kinds of things where we can at least, you know, hear tone and see faces and so forth. And, you know, it's a good time to be alive, and it's an amazing time to be a gamer.
Yeah, it is. And oh my gosh, how much longer do we have on this? It can't be much longer. 15 minutes. And look at that, 1745 backers when I just clicked over to it.
1748.
48.
Will we get to 1750? Good year. The
well, I have to go before anybody else starts, but thanks again, everybody, for all that you do, the Pinnacle staff. Thanks to all the backers for not only supporting us but sharing the word, because I see it all over Facebook. I'm watching as we speak. I see all kinds of people sharing it. Thank you so much. It's a big deal. It lets us do not only Rifts but all the other stuff we make. Thanks a bunch.
Thank you, Shane.
Here's Shane.
Boom. What a great guy Shane is. We like Shane.
He is. He's swell.
Right, and as Simon says, get back to work.
Get back to work.
Hey, Simon, this is work. We are the luckiest people in the world.
You're not going to join us live, Simon?
That's right, Simon. You could be here.
That's dangerous. We didn't have a staff meeting today, so we don't know if he's even wearing clothing. So I wouldn't poke that bear, Sean.
Critical failure. Oh.
But it really is good. I mean, I think that's the big thing. Is like we definitely thanks to the community. Clint has borne on his shoulders the Sisyphean task, Promethean task of having to roll the boulder up the hill and have his liver eaten at the same time. Whatever it is, of managing the forums and the socials. And you know, thanks, Clint, for that, because I don't know anyone else could have your patience. You are a saint. But also thank you to the community too, because I think even though we've had, you know, a large discussion even during this Kickstarter, you guys have been great during that. Thank you for being cordial and for keeping it to, you know, the talking points, to the points you're making, and not about, you know, ad hominems. It is nice watching the Savage Worlds community and the Rifts community both respond, and that's just great. So, you know, thank you guys for keeping it positive. I mean, we're individuals, right? We're not a huge company. We're not corporate. You know, we do, when you guys say snarky stuff, we do read it. So, you know, I do take to heart all the comments that say I need to turn my volume down because I'm too loud. I will try. I'm also a little deaf, so sorry, guys. But,
he did check his volume with me, so maybe I'm a little deaf too.
Right. We try. But yes, thanks to Clint and thanks to the community. It's a huge thing to us. I mean, you know, this is inherently a social game, right? We are creating products that are meant to bring people together to talk and have make believe, and, you know, real world stuff comes into it, but it is you know, a fantasy, and you do have that freedom. So, you know, thank you guys for joining us at our live events. Thank you for joining us at the virtuals, and then these Kickstarters. You know, I don't think anyone would have thought we'd get almost 1,800 backers on this. I mean, you know, we have 1,750. Thank you for that.
We're closing in. We're closing in on the number that we had for the American Armageddon Kickstarter, right? So,
wow.
with a supplement, just a supplement,
for a booster
right?
campaign, y'all. That's incredible. Thank you.
And I want to thank everybody that's been gracious with us for running a booster campaign, because it makes it possible for Pinnacle to run more campaigns and get more product in your hands, and for people like me to survive, and not go absolutely nuts while we're doing a campaign like this, because there's always that temptation to overpromise, right? But we don't want to underdeliver. And so with this campaign, we really came to you with all the bells and whistles we could. I do want to say that because we have been putting out an adventure, I'm trying to get another one prepped that we'll get out to y'all soon, in honor of July 4th. But also, thanks for letting me enjoy my July 4th. But also, we've decided that we are going to be adding a hero's journey table, as well as 2 new powers to the Atlantis book. So Simon and I came to an agreement on where I could cut a little, and make some room for that. So some people may say, well, they didn't really do the stretch goals. Well, guess what? You're getting them in a lot of ways. You better be writing. I have minions doing that for me. No.
Be nice.
Let me switch to my other screen. You'd be surprised. I have InDesign open right now. I don't know if you guys know. I write straight into InDesign, which that's what we eventually send off to the printers. So I actually have that open right now. So I've been very busy.
It's crazy. I'm watching it go back and forth, and they're literally mentioning how close they are to a rough draft on Terror. That was the last. Just 8 minutes ago, John Stevens, who's also one of our VTT aficionados who makes Foundry look amazing for you guys. He's helping out on that project. And so we don't have a date for that. I know earlier in the chat, someone asked if we had a date. We're not giving out dates.
Is asking. We're not giving out dates. I just want to say that Terror on the Dark Frontier Shane made the bold decision and Shane and Simon made the bold decision to help me and mentor me a little bit in putting together a team. Kevin has been very agreeable as well, and helping us out, just from his side of the aisle, right? And giving us the leeway and the freedom to do something like Terror on the Dark Frontier, to do something like South America via 109 PA. So it's over nearly a decade worth of updates, timeline updates to an entire continent. Sort of like we've done with Atlantis, but South America had a lot more going on. And we talked about this in an interview. If you can catch the recent interview that I had with Kevin and Chris towards the beginning of this Kickstarter, we talk a bit more about it, but it's a lot of exciting stuff coming. Production is tough. It's hard to say like, okay, we're going to have South America is next, and then Terror, or then it's Terror and then South America, or we're going to do both together. So we really want to bring you the best products possible. There is art production that needs to happen, but they're both in a very great spot for the future. We're coming out of this Kickstarter, and I'm able to focus on making sure, and the team is supporting me, right? It's great to have this team backing me up, reading through Atlantis, giving me feedback, play testing with me, right? And then we'll be sharing that with you as soon as we can. Again, I don't like to say specific dates because Jody will reach through the internet and punch me. Or like my basic training sergeant said, he said, if you reach back into that locker, I will execute your hand off with a machete. One of our favorite threats for my basic training flight. But anyways, it's one of those things where I don't want to say something that's wrong. I don't want to ever deceive or mislead anyone. I try to be very open about the production process as much as I can, and Shane gives me a lot of that freedom, which is really great. And so I was very excited to share with you guys about Terror on the Dark Frontier. But again, soon is all I can really say, and that's in the publishing sense. But we are going to make sure that these products are as badass as we can make them. So I'm super stoked about that, and I know you guys trust us and you have faith in us. So we're getting those things coming, and we already have had discussions about what might be beyond that. So just want to let you guys know there's this isn't I don't idly plan. Shane and Simon, Jody, Kevin, we aren't idle people. So we try and make very careful decisions about the future of our product lines. 5 minutes. We're down to 6 minutes. Yeah, if you know anybody, you got to make an emergency phone call. Maybe now's
I
the
know.
time, because I'd really hate for, some of the true Rifts for Savage Worlds or Rifts fans to miss out on this Kickstarter and have to wait. But
Now we will have the pledge manager.
we will have the pledge manager, right? But I know
Yes.
how people get so excited, right? And there's little differences in there, little jumps and bumps in there. So if you do know anybody that doesn't remember, please remind them now.
And we won't have that pledge manager open, immediately. So, just you have to sign up for our newsletter so that you'll know when it's available. If you don't make it today, hopefully you've got 6 minutes, so you've got time there. 5 minutes, sorry, 5 minutes. But if for the people who are like, I need more time to think about this, and there's definitely budgets to consider, and international backers, you're probably or you might be like looking at digital reward levels. I had a conversation with somebody in the comments today, because look at backing as a digital backer now, so that you can look at what the final shipping and VAT taxes are going to be, right? So you have a full picture of it when you go to upgrade to your print tier later. So yeah, spend a penny and phone a friend. Thank you, Gun Bunny. That's great. But yeah, so we will have other options later. But the fact remains, you're going to get the best deal now, because not only are you getting PDFs for everything that you're pledging for now, but you're getting them at Pinnacle and you're getting them at Drive-Thru-RPG. The only way we can do the comp PDFs at Drive-Thru-RPG is through basically a mass backer data upload download type thing. So we can't do it through the pledge manager. That's
Jody, she knows.
One at a time thing. Yeah, I know. Sorry. I know all the boring stuff.
No, that's exciting and important stuff, because we get questions like this all the time, right? So
yeah,
I don't think it's bad.
That's a value add, because if you want to keep your library at Drive-Thru-RPG, back all of our Kickstarters, because you're going to get all of the goodies, especially when we do have those stretch goals and we're adding more and more and more content. The value goes up. Well, in the boosters, we already factor in, you're getting extra content, like the free archetype dossiers, even for the digital backers. You're getting that added into the value of your package. So you're not, if you're a late backer, we don't allow any digital late backers. So you're just going to be waiting for the PDFs to come out later. And you'll either buy them at Pinnacle's site or at Drive-Thru-RPG. So really, 3 minutes, it's the best deal. Back now. I'm not trying to twist your arm. I'm not trying to do the hard sell. I really am just trying to give you the best deal out there. Because we can
the American Armageddon Kickstarter was an amazing deal, and the people who missed out on it, there's a lot of people that were like, "Oh no, I missed it," on the forums and stuff. So,
yeah, there were a lot of books in that one for a really great price, right? So,
that was an amazing price. And just so anybody that's listening that knows this as well, if you have the original Rifts for Savage Worlds books, and you can always call info at Peg Inc. or sorry, email info at peginc.com. Call info at Peg Inc. Right? Email info at peginc.com. Yeah, but no, email and we will make sure you can go with through the process. We can get you the updated PDFs for the Savage Worlds Adventure edition. There's Shane and the rest of the crew. There's no one here trying to bleed you for a new edition. We just wanted to make sure that we were able to provide full support for the adventure edition of Savage Worlds. And man, from the feedback we've gotten, everybody seems to love it and the support. I do see some questions in here. We've got a question about if we're going to do a playtest feedback period. Absolutely. We're going to do a playtest feedback period. So you will be getting those PDFs, and then I will be reading through all of your comments. And so super stoked to go through that process again with you. Again, you guys are like awesome. You're like the greatest fans, because you really help us make sure that the book is the best it can be. You catch little things that we didn't catch or our editors didn't catch. So it's a real team. It's a real team thing. And I really love having you guys as fans and playing games with you.
Yeah. When will it happen? Okay, good point. So after Kickstarter, it takes them about 3 weeks to collect all of your pledges, and then they give us the data. So we cannot give it to you any earlier than 3 weeks. Sorry. So it'll at least be
Thanks,
3
Jody.
weeks. And during that time, we're still working. Trust me. Sean is still
Right.
updating this PDF. In fact, you've got a PDF with extra comments in it from Clint, Sean. So
I know Clint and I've been going back and forth quite a bit, and our team, and there's a couple of people that I've shared it with. So we are not idle, but when you get that, it'll be in a really good spot, I think, ready for massive fan feedback and massive play testing.
Yeah, Sean, I'm not seeing the progress on the PDF during the stream that you were promising. You said you could multitask, sir, and I'm not seeing it.
I mean, he's talking and stuff. So
I've actually been messaging with the team right now. So
yeah,
during
he's
this
been
game,
chatting
so.
with the team.
Have you seen the it looks like the lighting slightly changes from what's reflected from my screen? It's because I'm actually
oh man,
chatting
it turned
with the
red.
development team right
It turned
now.
red.
50.
Oh.
It's one less than a minute. It's red. Oh,
Boy, they really are putting the pressure on, aren't they?
The waters
But you know
run
what?
red in Atlantis tonight, folks.
That's right. There's chum in the waters. But there are some people who do try to sneak in under the wire, or they're trying to make their last minute decisions. If you are trying to make a last minute decision, just go digital True Atlantean. That's what you want at this point. Digital True Atlantean. You can upgrade later, to the physical stuff. And then don't worry about all the add-ons and stuff. They will still be available in the Pledge Manager later at the exact same price. You're not getting a better deal. It's just an option that Kickstarter let us try for the first time, and we said, sure, why not? And it's been very helpful, I think, for people to be able to go ahead and say, okay, yeah, I want to go ahead and add on that extra box of pawns.
Woo! Confetti! Look at that!
wow!
So congratulations, we funded. Apparently, that was in doubt.
We made our $3,000 goal.
Yes. 1756. I feel like that was an important year for something.
Right?
Oh, well, somebody will Google that and let us know.
Well,
hopefully other good things.
1776. So there was a lot of stuff in process.
Yeah.
Numeric, at least.
Well, and really, I mean, Matt, it says that Shane, I think it said that it was like 26. So if you count the non-Kickstarter crowdfunders, this is like the 30th, I think, crowdfunder for PEG, which is amazing. I can't believe we've gotten through 30 of these. People have asked before like, hey, how come there aren't stretch goals on these? And I just, to answer that question, it's in the industry right now for a company of our size. Kickstarter and crowdfunding really is how we make the best products, get them to you, and that's really not as much even our behavior; it's your behavior. The consumer has spoken, and if we do a product that is not crowdfunded, even if it's the exact same layout, same art, we have a lot higher hill to get attention for it, to push it out there, and it takes a lot longer for that product to get to where it needs to on funding and and backers. So that's really the easiest answer is that because you guys want it that way, and we're responsive to those concerns, and so but we're also not just beholden to Kickstarter like you've seen. For other campaigns, we've gone to Game on Tabletop. We're exploring some other options ourselves. So there's more coming there. We are evolving as the market evolves. But I think for now, the industry, where we're at as a company and where the industry is and where you guys are, I mean, obviously you guys there's over 1,700 of you guys who wanted Atlantis. Just to put it in perspective, that's really affirming for us for a print run. I mean, just for smaller time publishers, like speaking as an ace here, not as take off peg hat, put on ace hat, and do the CMA too. That was last month. So as a smaller publisher, getting to 500 and 1,000 is an important part of how the printing industry works, just in being able to get you guys the right price, the discounts you need, filling up container ships. So we have, filling up the right number of boxes and the right number of container ships. And hey, even Jody,
don't talk to me about container ships right now. That's Thursday.
Thursday, there is a Carolina Game Table stream on Thursday to kind of talk about the logistics of getting tables to getting game tables to you. And it's not that different than getting books, but So yeah, game_table on Twitch. You guys can come, sign up and follow right, game table. Yep. So there will be a live stream on Thursday. We'll let you guys know about that. But there's just logistics behind the scene that have nothing to do with what's in the book or whatever, that have to do with the way the printing industry works, regardless of the RPG sector or the romance novels or comic books, or whatever. That hitting that 1,000 is a great place to be for us. We can start producing things. We can take risks and do die cut pawns, for example. Shane kind of mentioned, for those pawns and the die cut ones, there's a lot of overhead that someone has to hand make the cutter, the crimper that will come down and surgically cut out those pawns from, and leave them in place so that you can, finally punch them out on your own. So, that stuff it's risky for us, right? If we don't sell enough of those, it's a lot of overhead. It might not pay off. But because we do these crowdfunding, like we did for ETU and for this, you guys show up at once in the numbers we need to see to make those kind of cool additions happen. So that's kind of why we do it. We do it so that we can grow the variety of products we're giving to you. So you've seen, Terror on the Dark Frontier is going to be one of those products that's going to have risky things in it, right? It's going to have those extra immersive, fun, bits and pieces that aren't just a book and aren't just pawns. I mean, and because of that, getting those printed in the right numbers and how they get packaged and all those kind of things. That's kind of why we do crowdfunders, because getting those numbers up front is how we can make that happen. So thank you for, still supporting the crowdfunders, whether it's on Game on Tabletop or whether it's on Kickstarter. So that's kind of why we do that. So that's the behind the scenes info that, that you guys, a lot of questions kind of come up on that. Like, hey, why aren't there stretch goals? Well, in these kind of boosters, we put that information up front. We're like, hey, we really want to do this. So those are built in. So in this one, pawns could have easily been a stretch goal. How many sheets of pawns could have easily been, stretch goals? And hey, we'll do 1 sheet, we'll do 2 sheets, we'll do 3 sheets. Oh, hey, we're doing so many sheets, we're going to need to do a box for them. They're not going to just be, shrink wrapped.
Oh, and the Atlantis, the Atlantis and the Demon Seas Hero's Journey table, the extra powers. I'm if Simon's still in the stream, he knows I'm really terrible about sliding and cramming more into the book. Although I do write into layout, and I did study visual design. I try and make sure the book looks nice and pretty, and sometimes you need some space to breathe on certain pages. I'm always tempted to try and jam more into the book. Just like if you compare the Tomorrow Legion Player's Guide, the revised version, to the previous, the original one, you'll notice there's a lot more equipment that I snuck in there, anywhere I could on a table, pretty much. One of the things I want to talk to is we've got a lot of other people talking about. They still got sick, Clint, and I it's been really fun working with Clint and getting his feedback on the Atlantis and the Demon Seas manuscript, because I just have come to realize how much of a huge original Rifts fan he is. But I do want to talk to a couple of questions. We've got a lot of questions about what's coming up next. I know a lot of people came to the stream late, and also people have some questions about the license, about the Rifts for Savage Worlds license between Pinnacle and Palladium Books. So the first thing I want to say is that I just announced tonight and earlier in the stream that we're going to be doing a large format box set, like the old TSR adventure box sets, with maps and handouts and adventure book and a player booklet, right? And that is going to be called, it's in production. We're getting close to finishing the first draft of the manuscript with the writers that are working on it, and that is Terror on the Dark Frontier. I'm super, super stoked about that. Shane is super stoked about it. Kevin Sambita is super stoked about it. This is going to be the first time that we've got a box set like this for Rifts fans. And so whether you play Palladium or you play Savage Worlds, I think that this is going to be equally as compelling of a product. Either way, I have requested the magnificent Aaron J. Riley as the cover artist. We'll see if that happens. I know he's a super busy man, but he has been my favorite cover artist, and I hope to get him in there, sneak him in there. He's very, very, very talented, very, very sought after. But the idea that I've got for the cover, I think he's going to hopefully knock it out of the park again. If he doesn't, we have a lot of other great cover artists that I think will do great too. So either way, I think that we're going to have some really stunning art. The art just keeps improving for you guys
and some
to
of it is
see
getting
and to
on
bring
his
it to life.
schedule too. So I don't.
It is
I
some
just
of
want
that's
to put that in too. So he's
yeah.
in demand.
He's super in demand, and so I just throwing it out there. I it's a maybe. I'm hopeful. But these are the kind of things that I can get myself in trouble with, right, when I talk too early about it. But the other thing that we've got in the works is South America, so the Land of a Thousand Islands, as it's known in Rifts, and that book is also very far along in production already. I mean, mouth-watering stuff, guys. I can't wait to be playing it soon. But we've got. I went to Kevin with I don't remember like a dozen or more pages, a map, and all these quotes from the original South America books, and Kevin was just really, really super stoked about the if you read through South America 1 and 2, published by Palladium Books, those world books have a lot of things going on. A lot of things are about to happen, and so bringing that timeline up to date to 109 PA, I think that Rifts fans, again, of any stripe, will really enjoy the book as a 109 PA refresher. Also see the canon updates to the storylines, and just some killer stuff that you'll be able to play with in your games. The other thing that I do want to speak to is, there's questions about, hey, what about Wormwood? What about Phase World? So just to make sure that everybody understands, the current license for Rifts for Savage Worlds is for everything in Rifts Earth, right? So, and that's, one of my core priorities is to, we did the American Armageddon Kickstarter, covered Arcana and Mysticism, Blood and Banes, and then Empires of Humanity. And those 3 books help to round out North America. And I don't know if you ever can be done with North America for Rifts, but we reference like 30, 40 books for that. And then we just finished up the Atlantis Kickstarter, and that is in process. And so that's the next continent. The next continent we're going to be hitting after that is South America. I'd love to do probably a couple of books in Europe. We'll see exactly how that those plans fall out. And then after that, I'd like to do an East Asia book. I was a Chinese analyst and translator. I speak fluent Mandarin and know a bit about the East Asian different history and culture and stuff like that. So I'd be really, really stoked to work on that. But that is we're kind of traveling east.
Sean, I just want to interrupt here to say, yes, he is that amazing. He even speaks Mandarin. Oh. Yes, Sean is that amazing.
Sure. Yeah,
he's a really nice guy too.
Don't go that far, Jody. Jeez.
I mean, he is. We're on Team Sean, so
Thanks, guys. Yeah. But it's been really great after the military to move from military intelligence, which was, kind of, I don't know, harrowing sometimes, and instead work on these games. It's a lot better for me. But and my blood pressure. But I will say that I love working with you guys. And the other thing I want to say is that that Kevin Simbita is increasingly very happy with the cooperation, the collaboration with I mean, me and the folks at Pinnacle, right? We all get along. We're all one big family, and that's been just a great experience again. But what that means is that it does open some doors. I did an interview with him last year, and that's when we talk about a lot of things for like 2.5 hours. It's a stupid long interview on my YouTube channel, the Robertson Rebellion. But anyways, you can check it out. But one of the things that he talked about, that's why he's open to us doing the pawns. That's why he's, letting us do, not open. I mean, we're doing it, right? We're doing the pawns. We're doing VTT support, right? He's saying, Rifts for Savage Worlds is Rifts. These are Rift supplements. I mean, that's just high praise from him. But it also means that he's very open to, if we wanted to branch out into some things that those discussions, could be very positive. So I don't want to say, Phase World confirmed or something, or Wormwood confirmed, but we are listening to the fans, right? And there are active discussions about what will be coming in the future. I think the most important thing is I really want to get Rifts Earth done, for everyone to just kind of give you the core stuff you need. One of the questions one of Fraser had for us, one of our big fans that comments a lot on the Kickstarter, he was asking about, and I've seen a lot of questions about the secrets of the Atlanteans. That's just so you understand, the Dimension books, the Rifts Dimension books, are all considered separate IPs, intellectual properties, for legal reasons. And so that means that we just need to be very careful and respectful about how we approach any of that material. And that means that we're not going to bleed over into that. There's some if you know Rifts, the Secrets of the Atlanteans, that Dimension book, it has a lot of crossover and kind of reviews or reapproaches some of the stuff that you would see in Rifts World Book 2 Atlantis from Palladium Books, or the Splend Dimensional Market. So you might see similar things, but we're not going to just dive into that material that's part of that IP without proper licensing, for obvious reasons. What is Sean has an actual Eye of Knowledge lidless tattoo, Clint? Except for
you need to get one.
It's what is it? Limited trapping, Chinese only.
It's tattooed warriors speak language.
Right?
Yeah.
No, we're not going to tell you where Venatus, because he has to touch it to activate it, so you don't get to know.
But I just want to say that there are a lot of things that are very possible, but I also want, just as kind of an update, because early on we said, hey, this is our license, we're not going to mess with it, but things have progressed a bit where that could change. But I just want everyone to understand that would take a lot of effort. So if you think it's worth it, or there's something you'd really like to see in the future, do let us know on the forums. We're always listening. We really appreciate your feedback. But for instance, for the Atlantis and the Demon Seas, we if you look at the preview that we did, that Landauer put out for the Legacy backers, there's a sidebar on the very first page that lets you know these are the primary books that were referenced, so you can kind of get an idea of what is in that book. Now, if you enjoy some of that other stuff, like Fraser was asking about, some of the variants of tattooed warriors that came later. We'd love to do everything in Rifts or Savage Worlds, but there's just so much material out there that we can't just catch up with 30 years of material on the spot, right? So I think that what you're going to see, though, is that once you take a look at what we've done with, when I wrote this stuff for Tattoo Magic, I think you're going to be able to take a look at it. Any game master will be able to take a look at it and say, I think this is how I might do XYZ. Just like with the Katani Power Armor. We have the Serpent Power Armor. We don't have all the other. That's the most common Katani Power Armor. So you don't have all the other stuff, right? And so that means that that when you see that, when you see the Insecton rover, you can easily say, okay, this is kind of where they are. Grab a copy of the Suede vehicle guide, which I wrote, right? And then you can say, okay, well, if this is a a futuristic armored vehicle, it's equivalent to futuristic armored vehicle of this size. If I bring the size up to here, add these cannons, right? You can plug it in and get rolling. And that's kind of what the whole idea was with the vehicle guide. It's not a build point system like you're going to get in the Sci-Fi Companion you've seen in the previous Sci-Fi Companions, but it's something that is great for a game master, because, as you know, with Savage Worlds, it's especially stuff that's not player facing. It's not always about building it up to that level or having the right points values. It's like what works on the tabletop, what approximates the original material. So I hope that you guys will get a ton of mileage out of this book, because you've got all the core stuff you need for all the different various thrall races and factions in Atlantis, including the Katani, Kaidians, right? You've got what you need from the Lemurians to get started, right? We don't have all of the Lemuria stuff, but you can go pick up and these books aren't meant to replace the original Palladium books, but you can go pick up those books. You can take a look at what we did. How's the Serpent Hunter work? Okay, well, let me take a look at this. How does this bioarmor work? Let me take a look at this. And then I can bring something to the tabletop. These are things that we'd love to explore in future books, but we wanted to hit that breadth so that people could get playing and hit the high notes. And we have a really great community. One of the best places we've got right now is the Savage Worlds. There's a Savage Worlds Facebook group, an official Facebook group. There's also the Rifts for the Savage Rifts Facebook group. We've got the official forums at the Pinnacle Entertainment website. Castle Refuge forums is a great place to talk about stuff like that. And then we've also got, you can check out the community at savagerifts.com. Those guys have if you want to get gaming with people, especially over virtual tabletop or play by posts, that's a great community as well. So and they can point you to other places, right? Maybe Discord forums and all kinds of stuff. So.
Yeah. And I also want to, well, everybody wants to jump in and talk. I also wanted to say that, like, if you're new to Savage Rifts, right, you need to have it as like the high level overview. You want to have it in that concise format, which you've just done such a fantastic job with, Sean, of just kind of saying, okay, this is all you need to know. And then if you want to dive into that, if this is the thing that you want to put into your game, this is what's really cool to you, you want to investigate that a little bit further, you know where to go. You've got those other Palladium books to dive into a little bit further. And then if, we've got all of the different world books here for Rifts Earth, for, Rifts or Savage Worlds, so that you can go, okay, this book for this place or that book for that place. So we're going to get there. We're getting there. But for right now,
we have a plan.
Yeah, we've got a plan and we're getting there. But all you need is, the player's guide, if you're a player, and then what your GM is going to let you have out of the Atlantis book. And you can have the Atlantis book as a player and read up to a point, pretty much half of it, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's not like you can't use that book. It's been a fascinating read. But yeah, Remy's like, I want that extra knowledge. And I mean, it's just such a fascinating world to get into. But if you're a person who's like, I just want to dip my toe into it so that I can get running, and I don't want to feel like I will be an inferior person in this community if I don't know everything.
No,
that's not going to be the case. You've got enough here to get started, to get your group going, to get jumping into
Absolutely.
it.
And I worked really hard on that, and so I appreciate Jody, and I've gotten some similar comments from others saying that and Kevin has said that he's really surprised at how succinctly we're able to bring these things together. And also, a lot of stuff was written to be intertwined, and it is, but we present that in a very succinct, easy to read fashion in these books, which I am proud of that. And I would say, check it out, read through it. If you want some more info, though, if you're going to play a Lemurian, you really want to dig into your characters' creation or a true Atlantean, go pick up Secrets of the Atlanteans, go pick up the PDF for Lemuria, and then you can read all about that culture to help you build your character. Or if you're, as a GM, if they're going to a specific place, like the city of Mu, the Lemurian city of Mu, well, go read about it, right? But I think that you're going to be able to get a lot of mileage out of these books, just on the surface. And so again, we're really excited about sharing that with everybody. Yeah, I don't know what we want to talk about next.
No, I think that's it. I mean, I think we've kept you guys here for longer than we planned. Thank you again, 1,757 backers. That's an amazing number. You guys blew it out of the park with that. So thank you for sharing.
Did a 57? Did they? 57 snuck in. That was awesome after the update that I got.
Right?
The computer had to think a little bit more and then went, okay.
Right? Someone had to do is pay it, make sure his credit card goes through. So just in case you're just joining the stream, we've revealed a lot of info. Obviously, Rifts for Savage Worlds, Atlantis just finished. We will be getting those PDFs to you as soon as we can. Obviously, no promises, but I mean, if you look at how we've been doing it, it'll be a couple weeks, but you'll get those, you'll be able to look at them, improve them, and then they'll go off to production. But thank you for that. Obviously, there will also be a bridge to the backer kit, the pledge manager, I should say, pledge manager. Is the correct term, just so you guys can add on to your pledges. This is the first Kickstarter we did the add-ons, so we'll look and see how you guys use those and if that was a good thing to do. But obviously, if you didn't use the add-on feature with Kickstarter, you can always do it, like Jody said before, in the Pledge Manager, same prices that you get from the Kickstarter, so it's always a great deal. So that was this month and a little bit of last month. In August, we're going to be crowdfunding the Super Powers Companion. And as we hope, the Shane is. I mean, it is so far along. He's worried. He gets really worried about it. He's like, I need to work on it. I've looked at it. It's amazing, guys. It is amazing. I love it. I'm not even a big superhero guy, and seeing Shane run the games at conventions and then the extras. So if you watched our first stream, I was mush mouthing around the idea that it's not just a toolkit. There is content. There's fluff, and fluff sounds like the wrong word, but there's really cool
story.
world building. There's story that's coming with this companion that's really special.
Narrative meat, yeah.
Narrative meat, good. I like that, especially with all the barbecues for 4th of July. There's narrative meat coming with the Superpowers companion that is fantastic. We hope you guys are going to love that as much as we do. That's really exciting. And like Shane, literally, he dropped some stuff in here about how the hundreds of PCs and NPCs you're going to have access to from this. That's just exciting, right? I mean, just narrative meat. So that is going to be August, we hope. And then Holler, which is an Appalachian horror game from Tim Early, is coming in October. We did a little sneak peek of some art. We're going to have an actual play to whet your appetite between now and then. But we are going to do another Halloween for October. So that's in August and October. Other fun stuff that we've announced but have not given dates, and we will not give dates to. But the Terror on the Dark Frontier is a very exciting box set that is a content adventure box with all extra bits and pieces to really make it super flavorful for you guys for Rifts. And then the next big Rifts world book is going to be South America. So there's things in the pipeline. I know someone asked about the coalition stuff. We're still trying to figure out where that's going to go, given these other fun, exciting announcements. So don't lose hope on that yet. But that one's a little bit of a weird one. Are we going to release it outside of a Kickstarter? Are we going to massage it? Is it going to go somewhere else? Who knows? But with Terror on the Dark Frontier and South America being so far along in production and just really, really good and meaty and interesting things for Rifts, we're glad to announce those for you guys. Terror on the Dark Frontier, it's not going to be before October. That's all I can really say, Abuelo Sarga. I can't give you a date, but it is fantastic, and we're excited for it. I mean, the whole team is kind of on that one. I mean, Simon's done a lot of work on making that a super extra kind of thing, and just from Carl Kieser on the design, good stuff on all of that. And then if you want to play with us live, again, we're going to do Deadwood, and we're going to go on the Savage Cruise. Other than that, pick up the VTT assets and play with us virtually, guys, because that is fantastic. But other than that, I think we're about ready. I think I got a private message and I can't find my mouse. And
we did have
one last question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dagneer asked, so are you guys basically doing the continents of Rifts Earth before you guys head to getting the IPs for the Dimension books, which you touched on earlier, Sean, but go ahead and answer that.
That's a maybe. I will say, I think that just keep informed, right? Stick with us. We try and be very open and clear with the community, but I don't want us to put anything out there that's not ready to be put out there yet. But let us know what you think, what you like, what you'd like to see next. But in 7 to 8 months, I think that you'll hear some stuff that might make your head explode. So coming for Rifts. So, but yeah, we've got some really cool stuff coming, and not just talking about the 2 books that we just talked about, right? So, but we're really excited about the future of Rifts, and I think that you're going to see that it's never been a better time to be a player. And so again, I just want to say super duper mega thank you, giga damage thank you to you fans, right, for all of your support for Rifts for Savage Worlds. We are here with you. I'm listening. I try and read everything on the forums. And I can't wait for that feedback period, because like I said, I mean, the book's essentially done, right? So we're doing little tweaks and twists here and there, but super excited to get that in your hands as soon as we can. Jody just talked about how that does take 3+ weeks, but we're looking forward to that feedback period with everyone on the official. And again, this is one of those things, when we do the official feedback period, we do want all of that captured in the correct form at the official forums on the Pinnacle website. So just make sure, and we'll put out more information for you and updates for that then. But super excited about that to get with you guys on that as well. So, but otherwise, I can't give you, I can only give you so much, and I hope those 2 new book announcements or the 2 new big product announcements, right? Because Terrors is a big box set with a book inside of it, and then in addition to others, cool stuff, and then the Land of 1,000 Islands, South America. Those are official things that I can give you a hard. This is happening. This is in production. This is very far along. It's not vaporware, something like that. So again, we appreciate your support and look forward to talking to you more.
Yeah, and for those of you watching the stream, because there's still, you're still, why haven't you gone home yet? Why haven't you gone home? The Sean actually posted several updates to the socials and to the Kickstarter just today, like last minute stuff. So if you haven't enjoyed the good stuff he got in there, go check those out. He has been on top of things. So thank you, Sean, not only for getting this book done so well and so fast, but for running a very smooth campaign. It's been fantastic. Thank you for Jody. Jody does more. You guys do not realize the amount of work Jody does. She is an amazing human being.
Yep.
It's crazy. No, do not give credit to Simon. He does not know. Simon, get back to work.
Simon does a lot.
And share that folder with me, Simon, because this is all I do in life is ask Simon to share folders with me. It's true. Because there's just so much. I need the art to do the promo. But yeah, so we're not doing any more streaming for PEG for the rest of the week. Thanks, guys. I mean, we might do a replay of the AP. We'll see, but no more live. And but if you do want to hear some great stuff about logistics and shipping on Thursday, game_table at Twitch. So twitch.tv/game_table. We're going to do a stream on Thursday to kind of answer some fun logistics questions for you guys. And just see, is your game table stuck in the Suez Canal? That's a question we'll answer there. But other than that, love you guys. You guys have been great. Even you, Lucky Huckster, get back to work and share more stuff with me. But yeah, Sean, great. Congratulations to both of you for really, this is a great campaign. Thank you for everybody who came out. We're going to get some sleep. So cheers, everybody. It was good seeing you. See you next time.
Thank you.
Cheers, guys.